Antonio Brown, Lord have mercy. He retired as a Raider. He went there, then he froze his feet. He caused all this controversy to try to get traded. He badmouthed the coach. He badmouthed the quarterback. He badmouthed the general manager. Never played it down and then got cut. If you just stick to the football field, he's a Steeler legend. That 6-year stretch that he had is literally unmatched. If you had Antonio Brown on your fantasy league team, he led you to fantasy league football victories. Him by himself. Does he deserve to have his number retired? Absolutely not. You can't be bad-mouthing your quarterback like that. He burned every bridge that Pittsburgh has. And there's a whole bunch of bridges in Pittsburgh, but is he still a Steeler legend based on what he did on the field? 100% absolutely.
Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
Good morning, Northern Girl. What is going on, everybody? What is happening? Welcome back to Big B Daily. This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. Appreciate everybody being in there, man. Good weekend. How are you guys doing? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, it was a good weekend for me. A little relaxing. Went and saw Kevin Hart. That was fun. Had some fun watching him with some people up at old WinStar Casino. So had a little fun there, but kind of a relaxing weekend. A lot of sports still going on, though. Even though we are in the dead period, Lord have mercy, are we still in the dead period? But that doesn't matter. A lot going on. Sha'Carri Richardson, these Olympic trials, she ended up qualifying in the 100. Thank goodness. There was a lot of people, including me, that bashed the hell out of her the last time. And in my opinion, for good reason. She grew up, she's matured, and let's hopefully she goes to the Olympics and takes home the gold. So good for her. I appreciate what she has done. We'll talk about that. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, part 3 or part 5, depending on what you want to talk about. Angel Reese has a monumental, just a monstrous game and a big comeback win. We'll get into that. And then game 7. Nothing better in sports than a game 7, people. I'm telling you what. I don't know anything of hardly anything about hockey. I don't follow it, but I will be watching tonight. I 100% will be watching game 7 tonight just because I feel like something is going to happen. Something big is going to happen. So without further ado, let's get into the show. Again, as always, man, if you guys like what we're doing here at Big B Daily, you want to help support the show, you know how to do that. One platform, you got super chats. We appreciate all that. Like, follow, subscribe, comment outside the video, all that good stuff. Another one, there's always tips, gifts. Make sure you click on the link in the bio, whatever you want to do. We appreciate that. Let's get into the show. So Sha'Carri Richardson qualifies in the 100 meters. She's going to the Olympics. I would doubt that there's any drug test that comes back negative this time. I think she has kind of learned her lesson. Look, I was hard on her. A lot of people were hard on her. And again, I don't apologize for it. And I'm never going to apologize for it. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I thought that what she did, not just failing the drug test, because again, it was for weed. Come on, what are we talking about here? It's a rule, so I agree. You got to follow the rules, but it's ridiculous. It shouldn't be a rule, but it is. Okay, but it's what she did after, the bashing of the grades, not taking anybody's advice, being disrespectful. That was what my problem was. So that was what my problem was, and that's where I stand on it. But I'm glad she's matured. Number one, I'm rooting for her because nobody, including myself and a lot of people that were hard on her, nobody wanted to see her fail. They wanted to see her grow up. And I think she's done that. She's grown up. She's matured. She won the world championship last year, so I think you can say she's the best in the world. I know the Jamaican ladies are going to be there running. But the last time we saw that, Sha'Carri Richardson was that woman. I'm rooting for her. Go win the go. Go be the best that you can be. Go win. She ran a world best time. What was it? 10.17. That's the best in the world this year. Seems like she's starting to peak at just the right time. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. So the Olympics, again, my goodness, this dead period is going to kill me. I thought the Olympics were like beginning of July, maybe even the middle of July. Okay, that's fine. Not so long to have to No. The damn Olympics start July 29th. What the hell? Oh my God, we got another month of this craziness. Oh, but we'll figure it out. We're going to try to figure it out. But yeah, Sha'Carri Richardson. Look, first of all, I live in the DFW. She's from Dallas. Okay? I'm not from here, but I live here, so I claim here. So, bottom line is, I'm rooting for her. I got on her, just like a lot of people got on her. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. Good for her, though. Good for her. Good for her. I'm glad that she's it looks like she's bounced back. It looks like she's bounced back. Yes. Oh, some people are asking me some questions. I am on both YouTube and TikTok. All you got to do is click on a link and you can come over to the YouTube link. And you won't get frozen up on because you will get frozen up on here. So, but good for her, man. I'm glad that she, like I said, I was very hard on her. Somebody says I'm pronouncing her name wrong, that it's Sha'Carri Richardson. All the network television stations here in Dallas say Sha'Carri. So if I'm wrong, I'll be wrong. So if it's Sha'Carri, I'll Sha'Carri. If it's Sha'Carri, Sha'Carri. Either way, she's from here. I want to see her win. I want to see her win. So, like I said, it wasn't just me that was hard on her, but I don't apologize for it. And again, to me, the weed was stupid. The explanation was worse, but you know that they're going to test you. You know what's illegal. My thing is, it shouldn't even be illegal. It shouldn't at all. No THC is helping you win a 100-meter race. That's not happening. What are we talking about? That is not happening. But the rules are the rules. But for me, it was the disrespecting of everybody else. People that are trying to help you, people that are trying to talk to you. She's publicly trying to bash people. Look, you're embarrassed because of what you did. Nobody else did that. You did that. And for you to go and to handle it that way, I'm glad she got some PR people. I'm glad she understood, you know what, that was wrong. She didn't even have to come out and say that she was wrong because she didn't. Just be better. That's all we ask. Just be better. You don't have to come out with all these public apologies and all that kind of stuff because nobody's going to take that seriously anyway. They want to see you be better. Good for her. Good for her. I'm glad that she's better. I'm glad that she has turned things around. It seems like, and she said that. She said she's turned things around in her life. Good for her. I want to see her go smoke everybody in the Olympics. I know I've told y'all, I am pro Olympics. I like it all. Track and field clearly is my favorite. I know some people are like, well, what about basketball? I don't even think basketball is really an Olympic sport. I don't. And you guys can get on me about that if you want to. And don't get me wrong, I watch and I root. But when you say, hey, what about the Olympics? Is basketball the first thing you think about when somebody brings up the Olympics? To me, it is way down the line. Way down the line. It's track and field. It is gymnastics. It's swimming. water polo, all of these different things before I think basketball when you talk about the Olympics. Now, is men's basketball super popular? Of course it is. Of course. But I think volleyball, men's and women's, when we're talking about the Olympics, you know, I'm not saying that basketball doesn't have a place because that would be stupid. But for me, it's track and field. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go, Frank. Track and field is number one. Gymnastics is number two. For me, swimming is three. Volleyball, men and women, is four. Just in that order, man. In that order. Track and field, gymnastics, swimming, then volleyball, then the basketball, then But don't get me wrong, I'll watch everything. Give me some water polo, you know. In the Winter Olympics, I don't get a whole lot into that, but I'll watch some of it. So, yeah, I'm definitely more of a Summer Olympics guy than a Winter Olympics guy. Definitely. Definitely. And I think the reason being is because I can understand it more. I don't understand, what is that? Curling. I mean, I watch curling. I think it's cool, but I mean, you're shaving ice. Nah, I don't know that I'm down with that. So I don't know where I'm down with that. Not to mention, have you all seen all the backlash about the swimming? You know how they built for the U.S. trials? They built the swimming pool in Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Like, people are mad. Oh, it's such a waste. It's such a waste of resources. I'm like, well, were they your resources? I'm like, because unless it was your money, why do you care? Or where did they get? I mean, when you're talking about a waste of water, what should they do with that water? Like, what else are they doing with the water? It sounds like they created this water system. So if they created this system, why are you so mad? Like, I don't understand that. People will cry about anything. People will, I mean, I've said this a million times, and I'll say it till I die. You could give somebody $1 million. Literally, here's $1 million. And if I gave it to you in cash, somebody would complain and say, why didn't you deposit that directly into my bank account? That's the type of society that we are in right now. It is incredible. I mean, you're telling me that building they had to build this swimming pool. So they built this swimming pool inside of a football arena. That's not cool. I mean, come on, man. What are we talking about here? Of course it's cool. Let's not be stupid. It's a great idea. Where they usually had the trials in Indianapolis, it was not big enough. It is a big time event these days. It just wasn't big enough. So they had to build something and put it in a bigger arena. Well, they didn't do that for gymnastics, and gymnastics is more popular. I'm sorry, but the swimming pool is a little bit bigger than gymnastics. And by the way, they could put gymnastics inside of a basketball arena. You can't put a swimming pool inside a basketball arena. Golly. I mean, what? You're going to put a swimming pool inside the crypto in downtown Los Angeles? You're going to do that? Is that what you think? That a swimming pool is going to fit in there? God, come on. Golly. Just be happy, man. It was fun. It was cool. Oh, here's a good point. Somebody says the earth has the same amount of water now than we did 20,000 years ago. But yet, it's a waste of money. And look, I'm an environmentalist guy. I like the environment, but don't tell me it's wasting water. How do you know they're not taking that water and taking it somewhere to, when they're done with it, that whatever the drainage system that they have, that they're not using it to grow other things? How do you know that? You don't know. What do you think? They're just going to flush it down the sewer? Even if they did, okay. Okay. Oh, it's always something. It's always something. So it's crazy. Mm, mm, mm. But it's people People just complain. Like I said, the Olympics is a good time. I just wish it was sooner. Okay, Ned, they didn't put an Olympic size where you have all those lanes inside of the arena in Omaha. That's not what happened. Not the same stuff that you need for an Olympic trials. They didn't put an Olympic trials type of or pool setting inside of an arena in Omaha. So there's that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like I said, Sha'Carri Richardson, however you want to pronounce it, or actually not however you want to, however it actually is pronounced. Bottom line, I'm glad that she's winning. I'm glad that she's back on the comeback trail. I'm glad she's doing her thing. Good for her. So I want her to go win. So it'll be a good thing. So 3 Americans made it. There were her teammates last time. Well, 3 Americans always make it, my man. Always. Yeah. I think she's got a chance to win the gold. Like I said, last year, she was the world champion. She ran the world's fastest time in the trials. I think she's peaking at the right time, people. I think she is peaking at the right time. Uh-oh. There's some breaking news that just happened. I need to find it real quick. But some breaking news just happened with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let me find it. It just popped up on my phone, but of course I have 5,000 notifications on my phone. Here it is. Oh, they're hiring Kenny Atkinson as their head coach, the Cleveland Cavaliers. He was the assistant for Golden State. So, no. We don't do clickbait here, my man. I know you said it's your first time in. We don't do clickbait here. So, sorry, they're not trading up for the number 1 pick. That's not what's happening. Move this. Let's see here. But yep, Sha'Carri Richardson. Good for her. Glad it's working out, people. Let's move on. So, big matchup yesterday. It seems like every other day. Doesn't it seem like Indiana Fever and Chicago Sky are playing against each other? I mean, like, it seems that they've played 3 times this year already. It seems like every other game they are playing against each other. Well, they played again yesterday. It's the 3rd time this season. Indiana had won the first 2. Were well on their way to win in the 3rd. They were up 12 with just under 7 minutes to go. And boom, next thing you know, Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky get hot. They turn it on, and they come back and take a 1-point victory. Angel Reese played an outstanding game, 25 points, 16 rebounds. It's her 8th straight double-double. Caitlin Clark played well as well. I mean, she played very well in this game, 17 points, 13 assists, made 5 threes. You know, they're starting to settle in. Both of them are starting to settle in a little bit. You know, they had a little bit of ups and downs, a little nerves here or there. They're starting to understand the physicality that's being played, that this game is played with. You know, I know there's new people that are watching WNBA basketball, myself included, that are freaking out every time somebody gets touched on a basketball court. And the people that have been watching have just been telling you, no, this is what happens. This is the way the game's been played for years, for decades. This is nothing new. You're just now seeing it. It's physical. Okay. Now these rookies are starting to understand it's physical. I've got to get physical. And they're starting to figure that out, and they're starting to play some good basketball. Like I said, that's a great game, spectacular game. by Angel Reese. My man Brevin, what's going on, Brevin? If the Sky would feed it to the bigs, they would dominate more times than not. Absolutely. They have an advantage. They need to use that advantage. The one thing that I will say is men's and women's basketball is not the same when it comes to post play. You can absolutely dominate inside in post play. You could do that with men's too. They just choose not to do that. With women, it's different. If you got a big girl, give them the ball if they can play. So they can absolutely do it. You don't have to just have them setting screens and rebounds. No, you can throw it to them in the post and let them go to work. They don't do that in men's basketball because they just value spacing. Well, okay, but you can also use a big man. They just choose not to do that in men's basketball. But either way, Reese showed up big time for her team. Whether you like Angel Reese or not, I think she can be a little bit much at times, but and sometimes she just needs to let the play on the court do the talking. She doesn't always have to say the brash thing. You know, I'm not against people talking brash and doing that, but not every interview. It seems like every single interview, that's what she wants to do. Okay, fine. If that's what you want to do, every single interview. But sometimes it gets a little old. You know, be brash sometimes. I love that. Talk on the court. Like, I don't know if anybody saw yesterday during the game, her and another player, her name is Elisa something. They were talking back and forth, and then the ref got involved. And they were like, hold on a second, back up. All we're doing is just talking. I mean, we're not fighting. They were at the foul line just talking back and forth. I'm like, let that go, ref. What are you doing? And they said, calm down. This is just trash talk. It's allowed. It's allowed. There's no big deal in trash talk. It's not that big a deal. It just isn't. It just isn't. So hopefully they start to figure some of that stuff out and the refs understand what's going on. The game has changed a little bit. WNBA refs are pretty bad, though. They're pretty bad. I mean, we get on referees all the time and we talk about it, but the refs in the WNBA, they're pretty bad. They're pretty bad. You know, I can say a whole lot. I can say this, that, or the other, but they're pretty bad. But either way, I thought it was a great game. Look, everything doesn't always have to be about Caitlin Clark, but when she plays well, you need to say she played well. Even though they lost yesterday, she played well. 13 assists in the game. Hell, there were 3 other times she made phenomenal passes to wide open players for layups. 2 of the times somebody dropped the basketball. Another time they got it, and because they were losing the basketball, they go up for a layup and hit the underside of the backboard. Hell, she could have had 16 assists. She had a good game yesterday. So, yeah, and you're right about Angel Reese. That's always been your thing. That's always been my thing too, man. Talk your trash, but the thing is, when you lose, don't back down from the L on the chin. Don't blame other things. Exactly. She doesn't when they win, she'll talk trash and say this, but when they lose, have a pity party for me. Yeah, I don't want to hear that. They just talk trash, just as much trash when you lose as when you win. Hell, I'd even say talk more trash when you lose. But that's my thing. But regardless, you can't take it away from her yesterday. 25-16 is big time. I don't care who you are. That's big time. In a huge comeback victory. I don't think either of these teams are going to make the playoffs, but that was a big comeback victory for Chicago. Good for the confidence, because I think Chicago might actually be a little bit better than what their record indicates at this point. So we'll see. Maybe this is a turning point for the season. Still a lot of basketball left, but we'll see. Let's move on, man. Game 7. Lord have mercy. NHL hockey season comes to an end tonight. Now, look, I'll be the first person to tell you I do not follow hockey. I have not watched a hockey game, match, whatever you call it. I haven't watched one all season long. I am the definite. I'm not even a casual hockey fan. I'm not. But I will be watching Game 7 tonight. I will be watching because I want to see history. If there's nothing else, I like history. I want to see history. A team come back from 3-0 down to win the Stanley Cup. I am all in on Edmonton. I'm sorry, Florida Panther fans, if there are any out there. I apologize. I am all for Edmonton because not only is Edmonton coming, Edmonton was left for dead, not just because they were down 3-0, but because the way they were getting their head beaten in. I mean, it wasn't even really competitive, but they've made it competitive. They have made it competitive, and good for them. Good for them because I am all in. I am all in. And not only have they turned this entire thing around, I mean, they've done it on the road. They've done it at home. I mean, they've done it at home in dominant fashion. So they're trying to win it. They're trying to win it. I mean, it's just that simple. But yeah, Panthers 4-1. 4-1. I mean, it just blowing them out 3-0. You know, it was ugly. It was ugly. But they have turned this thing around. They have turned this thing completely around. And now they're dominating. And you're thinking to yourself, well, hell, can Edmonton even win a game? And then they go out and then they start blowing them out. And they've turned this, they flipped the switch and just said, you know what? Too bad, so sad. I'm all in, people. I'm all in on Edmonton. I want to see it. I want to see it. Like I said, I am not a hockey fan at all. I am not a hockey fan. But I will be watching. I will be watching. So, the last time a Canadian team won a cup was in 1993. Is that true? 1993? The last time a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup? That can't be true. Now, I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying that can't be true, can it? Man. Like Montreal didn't win, or Calgary, or Toronto. I know Toronto didn't. Huh. And I know it's been a while since Edmonton won. I know they've been in it, but I know they haven't won it. Man, that's a long time. That is a long time. But yeah, if that's true, that's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, I'm rooting for Edmonton. And again, has nothing to do with the country. You know, this is not the United States versus Canada. Because if it was, I'd be rooting for the United States. But it isn't. It's Florida Panthers versus the Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton was down 3-0. I want to see history. And number one, I think they should be favored if they're not. I think they've got all the momentum, every bit of momentum that there is. 3-3, Game 7. Doesn't get a whole lot better than that, in my opinion. It does not get a whole lot better than that. A Game 7. In any sport, much less hockey. I don't think it gets a whole lot better than that. So I'll be interested to tune in and see what we have. So let's see. There's only been 4 teams ever done that. And nobody's done it in the Stanley Cup Finals. So nobody's done it. And that is what I am here for. I want to see history. I want to see it happen. We're going to open it up, man. Whatever you guys want to talk about. You want to talk about the draft coming up? Why is the NBA draft 2 days? Can somebody explain that to me? Why this thing is 2 days? I mean, clearly, I know it's money and they're stringing this thing out. There is no reason that a 2-round draft needs to be 2 days. None whatsoever. But now they're making this thing 2 days. I'm like, we're celebrating the second-round picks for guys who don't even get guaranteed contracts. Why? Like, if you want to celebrate, you want us to watch and pay attention, then guarantee those guys contracts. It's just stupid. But whatever. But whatever you guys want to talk about. You want to talk about the draft. You want to talk about the NFL season. You want to talk about NBA. You want to talk about how the New York Metropolitans are trying to make a run at this wild card. You want to talk about that? I want to talk about that. I can tell you that right now. My team was left for dead, mainly by me. Left for dead. And here we are, one game back in the playoffs of the wild card. One game. We got a pitcher. He got kicked out of the game yesterday before he even got into the game. Had a crazy substance on his hand. You could see it. I'm like, Lord, have mercy. So I'm there for that. I am there for that. Florida runs hockey. Yeah, Tampa is pretty good. The Panthers, not so much. Give me Edmonton tonight. Give me Edmonton tonight. My man Pat Cockrell, he says that the Astros are going to come back and win the AOS. Bookmark it. They might. They might. You know, they very well just might. I mean, did anybody think that Seattle was going to be this good? I know I didn't. The Rangers get their pitching back. They got a good game. I mean, they dominated the Royals this weekend. I know people are, oh, it's the Royals. The Royals have been playing good baseball all year. So the Rangers dominated them. They got Scherzer back. If DeGrom comes back, look out for the Rangers too. I'll just throw that out there. If DeGrom comes back, look out for the Rangers. Look out for the Rangers. So, one team, let's see, what do we got here? One team ever has come back from a 3-0 in the Stanley Cup, and it was in 1942 Maple Leafs. Ooh, okay. Gotcha. 1942. Didn't know that. Again, I'm not even a casual hockey fan, my man, Brevin. Thank you for bringing those facts to us, brother. We appreciate it. So, the Yankees are going through their yearly collapse. I mean, is it just a rite of passage over the last decade that the Yankees get off to a good start and then everybody gets hurt? I mean, is that just what happened is going to happen to them? It's like, what curse happened to the Yankees? So, what happened to them? I don't know. So, my man says, what about the Celtics? Yeah, what about the Celtics? They won the title. They were supposed to win the title. They didn't get challenged in the entire playoffs by a really good team, a healthy team. That's not the Celtics' fault, though. But the finals, it just wasn't exciting. Like, nothing in the Eastern Conference was exciting. Nothing. Other than the Pacers beating the Knicks. That series was exciting. Other than that, was there a series that was exciting in the Eastern Conference? So, I don't think so. But again, that's not the Celtics' fault. They can only play who's in front of them. They don't get to choose. They can only play who's in front of them. And they dominated. But they didn't, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, some people are saying it was an all-time playoff performance. I'm like, no, it wasn't, man. They didn't play anybody that challenged them, that could challenge them. They didn't. The games that they lost in the playoffs, they gave those games away. It wasn't that those teams just went out and beat them. They gave those games away. So, So I like the Celtics. It was a good team. They're a great team. But let's not act like they are some juggernaut that couldn't be beat. We didn't even get a chance to see if that was the case. So, but again, can't blame Boston. They can only play who was in front of them. That's the only people that they can play. So if you choked or you got beat before it was time to play the Celtics, whose fault is that? That would be you. That's not a Celtic problem. That's a you problem. So they have a legitimate 100-game sample size of winning in 5. I don't understand what that even means. Well, I guess I understand what it means, but so what? They still didn't beat all the best teams out there. They didn't do that. But you can't blame them. But two things can be true. The Celtics could have dominated the entire playoffs, which they did. And you can also say they didn't have to face the best teams in the league, which they didn't. But that's still not their fault. So, do you think the Astros can make the playoff run? They got to get better pitching, but yeah. Yeah. But I'm not a big Astros person. I'm not. Until the Astros come out and admit that they cheated, I'm out on the Astros. Until they come out and admit what we all know they cheated. Until they just come out and say, yeah, we did it, I'm out on the Astros. I am out. And I'm not saying other teams weren't cheating. I'm not saying that at all. But they didn't catch the other teams, just like Michigan. Michigan got caught cheating. Was it some crazy, elaborate plan? No. But they got caught. Faced a penalty. It is what it is. There technically was no penalty for the Astros. Like, they made them fire a coach. Well, okay. Nobody gives a shit. Like, literally, nobody cares. Okay. You didn't get to take away their world title. They didn't lose games. So what difference does it make? There was no penalty. So the Dodgers are going to lose to the most random team. They always, like, how does Dave Roberts still have a job? I mean, they keep getting beat in the playoffs by teams that they finished 20 and 30 games better than. What are we doing here? Oh. Oh, well. Oh, but well be. Let's see. What do we got? Good question by my man, Pat Cockrell Hill. What are your offseason college football playoffs predictions? Well, in the Power 4 conference, I think Utah, I think Florida State, I think Ohio State, and I think Georgia are going to win those conferences. Big Ten, Ohio State. I mean, if they don't win, if Ohio State doesn't win, doesn't Ryan Day get fired? I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to end up beating Michigan because that's their only real competition in that conference. Don't give me Oregon. Don't give me Washington. I don't want to hear Penn State, Wisconsin. No, it's Ohio State and Michigan. Ohio State will win. They'll win the Big Ten. Georgia is still the best team in the SEC. They're going to win the title. They'll be hungry after last year. Florida State is still the best team in the ACC. And Utah, the new team in the Big 12, is going to win. After that, it's hard to predict, other teams because I already know that the committee is going to be super biased. They're going to put at least 5 SEC teams in there, which we all know they don't deserve 5 teams in the college football playoff. We all know that, but they're going to get Tennessee and Ole Miss and Missouri, Texas. They're going to get at least 5. Alabama. They're going to get 5 or 6 teams in the college football playoff. And then the Big Ten is going to get at least 4. So then you got 10. So then there's 2 more. Well, the ACC. Well, I take that back. The SEC will get 5 because you got to have a group of 5 team that they're going to throw in there for somebody to slaughter, which will happen. And then a Big 12 team and an ACC. So 5 from the SEC, 4 from the Big Ten, that's 9. Then you got 1 Big 12, that's 10. 1 ACC, that's 11. And then a group of 5. That'll do it. So it is what it is. They've manipulated this thing. They do it every year. You see it in the rankings. You saw it in the college football playoff rankings at the end of the season, how they always throw an SEC team in at 20. Like Tennessee had 4 or 5 losses last year. Somehow they were still ranked. How? I have no idea. Who they beat that was any good? The answer was nobody. Yet they still had them as the 22nd or best team in the country. Unbelievable. But because of Georgia and Alabama had beaten them, hey, it makes them look better. We beat another ranked team. Just like an Ole Miss. It's just ridiculous. So it's just ridiculous. Thoughts on South Carolina football? Yeah, I don't think South Carolina is going to be any good. I'm not a believer in Beamer and the coach. I don't think South Carolina is going to be any good. The team that, if here's the thing, people are going to think Oklahoma's not very good this year because I only think Oklahoma's going to win 8 games. But Oklahoma, if they get to 8 games with the schedule they got, yeah, they're probably a pretty good team. That would be the one team that I said if Oklahoma was 8-4, they should probably still be ranked. Because for them to get those 8 wins, they had to beat some good football teams. Because their schedule, the SEC, is putting them through the ringer. So we'll see. Yeah, that's my thing about OU, man. If OU gets to 10 or 8 wins, that's the team that I would say is still a good team because that schedule is brutal. All the teams that you think are good in the SEC, Oklahoma plays them. All of them. Not 1 or 2, all of them that you say, oh, man, the SEC's really good this year. Who does Oklahoma play? All of them. They got 5 good teams in the SEC that are great. Does Oklahoma play any of them? They play all of them. Lord. Will Notre Dame eventually get into a conference? Yeah. Yeah. That's why the quarterback dipped out? Maybe. Maybe. But here's the thing. I'm a OU fan from afar because my father was an Oklahoma fan when I was growing up as a kid. So we watch Oklahoma football. You know, Oklahoma football, they're a blue blood. They're getting the shaft with the scheduling this year. And that was the team that I didn't want to see leave the Big 12. I know that it made sense for them to go, but that was the school I was like, Texas could have went and I didn't care. But OU was a longtime rival and a Big 8, a Big 6. I thought they should have stayed, but I understand why they left. Good for them. So I am not an OU hater. I don't care anything for Texas, but OU, I didn't want to see them leave the conference. I didn't want to see them leave. So, but college football, college athletics, man, it is what it is. Appreciate everybody being in here, man. We're going to shut this one down for today. I appreciate you guys showing up and showing out like you always do. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. I appreciate you guys. We will be back tomorrow. No show on Thursday this week. Got to take my wife back to the doctor. Nothing major, just a routine checkup, but it's happening early in the morning and she can't drive, so I'll be doing that. So we'll be here the rest of the week. Again, just no show on Thursday. Appreciate you guys, man. Hey, we're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, Big B Daily. We appreciate you guys. By the way, just as a reminder, if you're a football fan, more importantly, if you're a Steeler fan, come and check out Steelers Almighty. It is anywhere that you get a podcast. That's number 1. Number 2, it's on all the social media platforms, Steelers Almighty. Number 3, on YouTube. Go check us out. Go like, follow, subscribe. We got a ton of good content. If you like good football content, you'll love it. If you are a Steelers fan, it's gonna blow your mind. So I appreciate everybody being in here. Love you guys. I will holler at you tomorrow.